The Mass Rapid Transit or MRT is a rapid transit system forming the major component of the railway system in Singapore, spanning the entire city-state. The initial section of the MRT, between Kang and Payoh, opened in 1987, making it the second oldest metro system in Southeast Asia, after Manila's LRT system. The network has since grown rapidly in accordance with Singapore's aim of developing a comprehensive rail network as the backbone of the public transport system in Singapore, with an average daily ridership of 2.755 million in 2013, approximately 77% of the bus network's 3.601 million in the same period. The MRT network encompasses 152.9 kilometres of route, with 108 stations in operation, on standard gauge. The lines are built by the Land Transport Authority, a statutory board of the Government of Singapore, which allocates operating concessions to the profit-based corporations, SMRT Corporation and SBS Transit. These operators also run bus and taxi services, thus facilitating full integration of public transport services. The MRT is complemented by a small number of regional light rail transit network in Bukit Panjang, Sengkang and Punggol that link MRT stations with HDB public housing estates. Services operate from about 5:30 am and usually end before 1 am daily, with trains arriving approximately every 1 to 2 minutes during rush hours and at least every 6 minutes or less at all other times. Services operate all night during festive periods such as Chinese New Year, Deepavali and Hari Raya Puasa. History. The origins of the mass rapid transit are derived from a forecast by city planners in 1967 which stated the need for a rail-based urban transport system by 1992. Following a debate on whether a bus-only system would be more cost-effective, Parliament came to the conclusion that an all-bus system would be inadequate, as it would have to compete for road space in a land-scarce country. The initial 5 billion Singapore dollars construction of the mass rapid transit network was Singapore's largest public works project at the time, starting on October 22, 1983 at Shan Road. The network was built in stages, with the North-South line given priority because it passed through the central area that is a high demand for public transport. The Mass Rapid Transit Corporation, later renamed as SMRT Corporation was established on October 14, 1983. It took over the roles and responsibilities of the former Provisional Mass Rapid Transit Authority. On November 7, 1987, the first section of the North-South line started operations, consisting of 5 stations over 6 kilometres. 15 more stations were opened later, and the MRT system was officially launched on March 12, 1988 by Lee Kuan Yew, then Prime Minister of Singapore. Another 21 stations were subsequently added to the system. The opening of Boon Lay on the East-West Line on July 6, 1990 marked the completion of the system 2 years ahead of schedule. The MRT has subsequently been expanded. This includes a 1.2 billion Singapore dollars expansion of the North-South line into Woodlands, completing a continuous loop on February 10, 1996. The concept of having rail lines that bring people almost directly to their homes led to the introduction of the light rail transit lines connecting with the MRT network. On November 6, 1999, the first LRT trains on the Bukit Panjang LRT went into operation. In 2002, the Changi Airport and Expo stations were added to the MRT network. The Northeast Line, the first line operated by SBS Transit, opened on June 20, 2003, one of the first fully automated heavy rail lines in the world. On January 15, 2006, after intense lobbying by the public, Buang Kok Station was opened. The Boon Lay extension of the East-West Line, consisting of Pioneer and Joo Koon stations, began revenue service on February 28, 2009. The Circle Line opened in 4 stages from May 28, 2009 to January 14, 2012. Stage 1 of Downtown Line opened on December 22, 2013 with its official opening made on December 21, 2013 by Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong. Infrastructure, Network. The following table lists the mass rapid transit lines that are currently operational. Facilities and services. Except for the partly at grade Bishan, the entirety of the MRT is elevated or underground. Most below-ground stations are deep and hardened enough to withstand conventional aerial bomb attacks and to serve as bomb shelters. Mobile phone service is available in and between all stations on the entire MRT network. Underground stations and the trains themselves are air-conditioned, though some above-ground stations have fans. Every station is equipped with general ticketing machines, a passenger service center, LED and plasma displays that show train service information and announcements. All stations are equipped with restrooms and payphones, although some restrooms are located at street level. Some stations, especially the major ones, have additional amenities and services, such as retail shops and kiosks, supermarkets, convenience stores, automatic teller machines, and self-service automated kiosks for a variety of services. Heavy-duty escalators at stations carry passengers up or down at a rate of 0.75 ams, 50% faster than conventional escalators. The older stations on the north-south and east-west lines were originally built with no accessibility facilities, such as lifts, ramps, tactile guidance systems, wider fare gates, or toilets for passengers with disabilities. Authorities in the past actively discouraged use of their system by the disabled. Now, these facilities are being progressively installed as part of a program to make all stations accessible to the elderly and to those with disabilities. All stations are now barrier-free, although works are still ongoing to provide stations with additional barrier-free facilities. The installation of lifts at pedestrian overhead bridges next to 6 MRT stations and additional bicycle racks at 20 stations is slated to be completed by the end of 2013. Depots. SMRT Corporation has 4 train depots. Bishan Depot is the central maintenance depot with train overhaul facilities, while Changi Depot and Ulapandan Depot inspect and house trains overnight. In March 2012, it was announced the new Torres Depot would be ready in 2016, replacing Bishan as the central depot for the East-West Line. The underground Kim Chuan Depot houses trains for the Circle Line and Downtown Line, now jointly managed by the 2 operators. SBS Transit has 2 depots. Sengkang Depot houses trains for the Northeast Line, the Sengkang LRT and the Punggol LRT. Kim Chuan Depot is currently jointly operated with SMRT for the Downtown Line. Major operations will eventually be shifted to the main Gali Batu Depot by 2016, although it will continue to operate on a minor capacity. In August 2014, plans for the world's first 4-in-1 train and bus depot were announced. It will be built at Tanamera beside of the original Changi Depot site to serve the East-West, Downtown, and Thompson East Coast lines. The new 36-ha depot can house about 220 trains and 550 buses, and integrating the depot for both buses and trains will help to save close to 60 football fields of land space. Architecture and art. Early stages of the MRT's construction paid relatively scant attention to station design, with an emphasis on functionality over aesthetics. This is particularly evident in the first few stages of the north-south and east-west lines that opened between 1987 and 1988 from Kang to Clementi. An exception to this was Orchard, chosen by its designers to be a showpiece of the system and built initially with a domed roof. Architectural themes became a more important issue only in subsequent stages, and resulted in such designs as the cylindrical station shapes on all stations between Kallang and Faciaris except Ianos, and west of Boon Lay, and the perched roofs at Boon Lay, Lakeside, Chinese Garden, Bukit Batok, Bukit Gombak, Awa Chu Kang, Khatib, Aishan and Ianos stations. Art pieces, where present, are seldom highlighted. They primarily consist of a few paintings or sculptures representing the recent past of Singapore, mounted in major stations. The opening of the Woodlands extension introduced bolder pieces of artwork, such as a 4,000 kg sculpture in Woodlands. With the opening of the Northeast Line, a series of artworks created under a program called the Art in Transit were commissioned by the Land Transport Authority. Created by 19 local artists and integrated into the station's interior architecture, these works aim to promote the appreciation of public art in high-traffic environments. The artwork for each station is designed to suit the station's identity. All stations on the Northeast, Circle and Downtown lines come under this program. An art contest was held by the authorities in preparation for a similar scheme to be implemented for the Circle line. Expo Station, located on the Changi Airport branch of the East-West line, is adjacent to the 100,000 square meter Singapore Expo exhibition facility. Designed by Foster and Partners and completed in January 2001, the station features a large, pillarless, titanium-clad roof in an elliptical shape that sheathes the length of the station platform. This complements a smaller 40-meter reflective stainless steel disc overlapping the titanium ellipse and visually floats over a glass elevator shaft and the main entrance. The other station with similar architecture is Dover. Changi Airport, the easternmost station on the MRT network, has the widest platform in any underground MRT station in Singapore. It is rated 10 out of 15 most beautiful subway stops in the world in 2011. Two Circle Line stations, Bras Basah and Stadium, were commissioned through the Marina Line Architectural Design Competition jointly organized by the Land Transport Authority and the Singapore Institute of Architects. The competition required no track record and is acknowledged by the industry as one of the most impartial competitions held in Singapore to date. The winner of both stations was WOHA. In 2009, Best Transport Building was awarded to the designers at WOHA Architects at the World Architecture Festival. Expansion. The MRT system relied on its two main lines, the North-South and East-West lines, for more than a decade until the opening of the Northeast Line in 2003. While plans for these lines as well as those currently under construction were formulated long before, the Land Transport Authority's publication of a white paper titled A World-Class Land Transport System in 1996 galvanized the government's intentions to greatly expand the system. It called for the expansion of the 67 kilometers of track in 1995 to 360 in 2030. It was expected that daily ridership in 2030 would grow to 6.0 million from the 1.4 million passengers at the time. The following table lists mass rapid transit lines that are currently under construction, or that are in the planning stages. Downtown Line. The 42-kilometer, 36-station fully underground Downtown Line, will connect the northwestern and eastern regions of Singapore to the new downtown at Marina Bay in the south and to the central business district. Similar to the Circle Line, 3-car train sets will run on the Downtown Line with line capacity projected for 500,000 commuters daily. Slated to be completed in 3 stages, Stages 2 from Bukit Panjang to Raya and 3 from Fort Canning to Expo will begin operations in 2016 and 2017 respectively. Stage 1 from Bugis to Chinatown began operations in December 2013. Thompson East Coast Line. The 43-kilometer, 31-station fully underground Thompson East Coast Line will connect the northern region of Singapore to the south, running parallel to the existing north-south line passing through Woodlands, Sin Ming, Upper Thompson in Marina Bay before turning east and running through Tanjong Rhu, Siglap, Marine Parade and B-Dock. The line will commence operation in 3 stages, with Stage 1 from Woodlands North to Woodlands South opening in 2019, Stage 2 from Springleaf to Caldecott opening in 2020 and Stage 3 from Mount Pleasant to Gardens by the Bay opening in 2021, Stage 4 from Tanjong Rhu to Bayshore in 2023 and Stage 5 from B-Dock South to Sunjay B-Dock in 2024. The northern terminus of Woodlands North is also expected to interchange with the Singapore JA rail link to provide access to Johor Bahru and the future JB Metro. Jurong Region Line. First proposed as a LRT line when originally announced in 2001, the Jurong Region Line has since been upgraded to be a medium-capacity line after the project was revived in 2013. The new configuration will serve West Coast, Tengah and Our Chu Kang and Jurong. Details will be announced once Tengah's new town development is up, and the completion will be by 2025. Cross Island Line. The 50-kilometer Cross Island Line will span the island of Singapore, passing through Tuas, Jurong, Sin Ming, Ang Mo Kio, Hugang, Punggol, Pasir Ris and Changi. The addition of the new line brings commuters with another alternative for east-west travel to the current east-west line. It will also connect to all the other major lines to serve as a key transfer line, complementing the role currently fulfilled by the Orbital Circle line. This line will even have a longer time frame due to the environmental study aspects, with their completion by 2031. North-South Line Extension. A 1-kilometre one-station extension from Marina Bay initially due for completion in 2015, but brought forward by a year to 2014. The new Marina South Pier station will be located near the Marina Bay Cruise Centre Singapore in Marina Bay. Tuas West Extension. The Tuas West Extension is an extension of the East-West line from Joo Koon to Tuas Link. The stations are Eurogull Circle, Tuas Crescent, Tuas West Road and Tuas Link. Euro will extend MRT connectivity to the Tuas area and are expected to serve more than 100,000 commuters daily. Construction began in 2012 and is planned to be completed in 2016. Circle Line Stage 6. To be completed by 2025, the 4-kilometre extension will run from Marina Bay through Keppel, ending at Harbourfront. Downtown Line 3 Extension. To be completed by 2024, the extension will run from Expo via Xilin and interchange with Sunjabi Dock of the Thompson East Coast Line. Northeast Line Extension. To be completed by 2030, the 2-kilometre extension will run from Punggol through Punggol North including the new Punggol downtown. The extension is for future residents in Punggol North to have train access to the city centre as well as other parts of Singapore. Rolling stock. The following table lists the rolling stock of the network. At present, all Singapore lines run with fixed-length trains between 3 and 6 cars, with the future Thompson East Coast Line utilising 4 cars. Since the system's conception in 1987, all train lines have been powered by the 750-volt DC third rail, with the exception of the Northeast Line which relies on 1500 volts direct current supplied via overhead lines. The North-South and East-West lines uses an automatic train operation system that is similar to London Underground's Victoria Line. No rolling stock has been completely scrapped since service began, with the oldest C151 trains operating continuously since 1987. Older trains have been renewed over the years under refurbishment schemes to enhance their lifespan as well as to adhere to updated safety and usability codes. Refurbished and new trains sport sleeker designs, improved passenger information systems, more grab poles, wider seats, more space near the doors, spaces for wheelchairs and CCTV cameras. As a trial run, luggage racks were installed on the C751B trains to serve travellers on the Changi Airport branch line. However, the scheme was subsequently withdrawn in June 2002 and the luggage racks removed. All trains are contracted by open tender, with their contract numbers forming the most recognised name of the stock. Official sources occasionally refer to the trains of the North-South and East-West lines as numbered generation trains, with the C151 train being the first and C151B train being the fifth. Fares and ticketing. Stations are divided into 2 areas, paid and unpaid, which allow the rail operators to collect fares by restricting entry only through the fare gates, also known as access control gates. These gates, connected to a computer network, can read and update electronic tickets capable of storing data, and can store information such as the initial and destination stations and the duration for each trip. General ticketing machines sell tickets for single trips or allow the customer to buy additional value for stored value tickets. Tickets for single trips, colored in green, are valid only on the day of purchase, and have a time allowance of 30 minutes beyond the estimated traveling time. Tickets that can be used repeatedly until their expiry date require a minimum amount of stored credit. As the fare system has been integrated by TransitLink, commuters need to pay only one fare and pass through 2 fare gates for an entire journey, even when transferring between lines operated by different companies. Commuters can choose to extend a trip mid-journey, and pay the difference when they exit their destination station. Fares, because the rail operators are government-assisted, profit-based corporations, fares on the MRT system are pitched to at least break-even level. The operators collect these fares by selling electronic data storing tickets, the prices of which are calculated based on the distance between the start and destination stations. These prices increase in fixed stages for standard non-discounted travel. Fares are calculated in increments based on approximate distances between stations, in contrast to the use of fare zones in other subway systems, such as the London Underground. Although operated by private companies, the system's fare structure is regulated by the Public Transport Council, to which the operators submit requests for changes in fares. Fares are kept affordable by pegging them approximately to distance-related bus fares, thus encouraging commuters to use the network and reduce its heavy reliance on the bus system. Fare increases over the past few years have caused public concern, the latest one having taken effect from October 1, 2008. There were similar expressions of disapproval over the slightly higher fares charged on SBS Transit's Northeast Line, a disparity that SBS Transit justified by citing higher costs of operation and maintenance on a completely underground line, as well as lower patronage. Ticketing, main articles, EZ-Link, Nets, and CEPAS. The ticketing system uses the EZ-Link and Nets FlashPay contactless smart cards based upon the Symphony for e-payment system for public transit built on the Singapore standard for contactless e-purse application system. This system allows for up to 4 card issuers in the market. The EZ-Link card was introduced on April 13, 2002 as a replacement for the original Transit Link Fare card, while its competitor the Nets FlashPay card entered the Smartcard market on October 9, 2009. An adult EZ-Link card may be bought at any Transit Link ticket office or passenger service center. The card may also be used for payment for goods and services at merchants displaying the EZ-Link logo, electronic road pricing tolls, and electronic parking system car parks. Additional credit may be purchased at any general ticketing machine, add value machine, Transit Link ticket office, passenger service center, AXS station, DBS POSB automatic teller machine, online via a card reader purchased separately, or selected merchants. Additional credit of a predetermined value may also be automatically purchased whenever the card value is low via an automatic recharge service provided by Interbank Giro or through a manual application at the Transit Link ticket office or credit card online. An option for EZ-Link Season Pass for unlimited travel on buses and trains is available for purchase and is non-transferable. Its main competitor, the Nets FlashPay card, may be purchased for at least 12 Singapore dollars for the payment of transport fares in Singapore and at merchants displaying the Nets FlashPay logo. A standard ticket contactless smart card for single trips may also be purchased, inclusive of a deposit, for the payment of MRT and LRT fares. The card may be purchased only at the GTM. The deposit may also be retrieved by returning the card to the GTM within 30 days from the date of issue or donated to charity by depositing it in a collection box at any station. This card cannot be recharged with additional credit. For tourists, a Singapore Tourist Pass contactless smart card may be purchased. The card may be bought at selected Transit Link ticket offices and Singapore visitors centres. The deposit may be retrieved by returning the card to selected Transit Link ticket offices and Singapore visitors centres within 5 days from the date of issue. Safety. Operators and authorities state that numerous measures have been taken to ensure the safety of passengers, and SBS Transit publicised the safety precautions on the driverless Northeast Line before and after its opening. Safety campaign posters are highly visible in trains and stations, and the operators frequently broadcast safety announcements to passengers and to commuters waiting for trains. Fire safety standards are consistent with the strict guidelines of the U.S. National Fire Protection Association. There were calls for platform screen doors to be installed at above-ground stations after several incidents in which passengers were killed by oncoming trains when they fell onto the railway tracks at above-ground stations. Underground stations already featured the doors since 1987. The authorities initially rejected the proposal by casting doubts over functionality and concerns about the high installation costs, but made an about-turn when the government announced plans to install half-height platform screen doors on the above-ground stations in January 2008, citing lower costs due to it becoming a more common feature worldwide. They were first installed at Jurong East, Pasir and Ayashan stations in 2009 under trials to test their feasibility. By March 14, 2012, all above-ground stations have been retrofitted with the doors and are operational. These prevent suicides, enable climate control in underground stations and prevent unauthorized access to restricted areas. Under the Rapid Transit Systems Act, acts such as smoking, eating or drinking on stations and trains, the misuse of emergency equipment and trespassing on the railway tracks are illegal, with penalties ranging from fines to imprisonment. There were a few major accidents in the history of the MRT that raised safety concerns among the public. On August 5, 1993, two trains collided at Clementi Station because of an oil spillage on the track, which resulted in 132 injuries. During the construction of the Circle Line on April 20, 2004, a tunnel being constructed under Nickel Highway collapsed and led to the deaths of 4 people. The overall reliability of the aging north-south and east-west lines were questioned by the public after multiple major train disruptions in December 2011 led to a committee of inquiry, which uncovered serious shortcomings in SMRT Corporation's maintenance regime. Since then, every MRT line has been plagued with major to minor disruptions. Security concerns related to crime and terrorism were not high on the agenda of the system's planners at its inception. However, after the Madrid train bombings in 2004 and the foiled plot to bomb the Ayashan MRT station, the operators deployed private, unarmed guards to patrol station platforms and check the belongings of commuters. Recorded announcements are frequently made to remind passengers to report suspicious activity and not to leave their belongings unattended. Digital closed-circuit cameras have been upgraded with recording capability at all stations and trains operated by SMRT Corporation. Trash bins and mailboxes have been removed from station platforms and concourse levels to station entrances, to eliminate the risk that bombs will be placed in them. Photography without permission was also banned in all MRT stations since the Madrid bombings, but it was not in the official statement in any public transport security reviews. On April 14, 2005, the Singapore Police Force announced plans to step up rail security by establishing a specialized public transport security command. These armed officers began overt patrols on the MRT and LRT systems on August 15, 2005, conducting random patrols in pairs in and around rail stations and within trains. They are trained and authorized to use their firearms at their discretion, including deadly force if deemed necessary. On January 8, 2006, a major civil exercise involving over 2,000 personnel from 22 government agencies, codenamed Exercise North Star V, simulating bombing and chemical attacks at Dhoby Ghaut, Payoh, Raffles Place and Marina Bay MRT stations was conducted. 13 stations were closed and about 3,400 commuters were affected during the 3-hour exercise. Security concerns were brought up by the public when 2 incidents of vandalism at train depots occurred within 2 years. In both incidents, graffiti on the affected trains were discovered after they entered revenue service. The first incident, on May 17, 2010, involved a breach in the perimeter fence of Changi depot and resulted in the imprisonment and caning of a Swiss citizen, and an Interpol arrest warrant for his accomplice. The train involved was a C-151 train. SMRT Corporation received a 50,000 Singapore dollars fine by the Land Transport Authority for the first security breach. Measures were put in place by the Public Transport Security Committee to enhance depot security in light of the first incident, but works were yet to be completed by SMRT Corporation when the second incident, on August 17, 2011, occurred at Bishan Depot. On November 22, 2012, the Land Transport Authority carried out a ground deployment exercise with SMRT to test their incident management plans in the event of a train service disruption. In total, about 135 personnel including representatives from the Singapore Police Force's Transport Command and SBS Transit participated in the exercise. Train service continued as per normal and commuters were not affected by the exercise. Codenamed Exercise Greyhound, the exercise went through the scenario of a broken rail on the east-west line at Buona Vista. SMRT had also activated their rail incident management plan. On August 22, 2013, a Euro exercise Greyhound 2013 a Euro unregistered trademark was carried out by the Land Transport Authority with SBS Transit to validate the procedures of SBSTA Euro unregistered trademark S Operations Control Centre and the workability of its contingency plans for bus bridging, free bus service and deployment of goodwill ambassadors during a simulated prolonged train service disruption. About 300 personnel including representatives from LTA, SBST, SMRT, the Singapore Police Force Euro unregistered trademark S Transport Command, Traffic Police and Singapore Civil Defence Force participated in the exercise. Train service continued as per normal and commuters were not affected by the exercise. See also, List of Singapore MRT stations, light rail transit, transport in Singapore, List of metro systems, medium capacity rail transport system, references. Academic publications. Corporate and governmental sources. External links, media related to mass rapid transit at Wikimedia Commons, Land Transport Authority official website, SBS Transit official website, SMRT Corporation official website.